This weekend was the second Women's March, both across the US and across the world and across the entire world. A lot of people took to the streets, well over 1 million people in total actually. We've got some video that's gonna show you a few aerial photos. I was at the LA March and I believe it was the single largest, over 500,000 people, which is amazing, but also less than last year. That's how big it was last year. You're seeing huge marches there. New York City had 200,000, San Francisco had between 50 and 100,000, Oakland, not far away, 40,000, Chicago had 300,000, which is actually more than they had last year at the first Women's March. And then there's thousands gathering in Rome and London and Paris and Sydney, other cities in Australia. And then, there's well over 200 in the US alone. We're talking about like Philly had a small one, and Houston and Dallas and San Antonio, all over. And it was incredibly inspiring, a number of great speakers. I took a lot of photos and it was awesome. I went with my girlfriend and some of our friends who are also activists, and it was very inspiring. And then you get back home and you go on social media and you see the right-wing attacks against it, just like last year, which are disheartening, at least briefly. The amount of disrespect lobbed at these people who are, like, you know how hard it is to get people in the US to march? To actually go somewhere and to do it 2 years in a row and to get 1 million plus people is amazing. But they're just, it reminds me actually a lot of the arguments that were cast against Occupy Wall Street. Like what are they actually there for? They don't have one leader, they don't have one policy they care about, and so they disregard it. But
on the other hand, I'm gonna jump in for 1 second. You get 12 goofballs dressed up in colonial gear and call it a Tea Party rally, and you'll get cable news covering it nonstop. Oh my, what's the Tea Party doing? What are all 13 of them doing?
Yeah.
Let's cover it nonstop. Could you imagine if the Tea Party got 1 million people in the streets?
Oh my God.
They'd be like, this is the greatest political movement the world has ever seen.
Yeah. And look, I know for some people, even for some progressives, women's issues specifically are not at the top of the list. And so it's easy to look at it and say, well, where's the passion for my particular issue? But I was there, I took pictures of the signs. Whatever issue you care about, there were people there marching for it, passionate about it. And so-
One more interruption there, John, sorry. Just to close the loop on the Tea Parties. They always say you're absolutely right about Occupy or this. Oh, well, what do they want anyway? The Tea Party claimed that they were against the bank bailouts. Didn't do a single protest of the banks.
Yeah.
Or the bailouts. I mean, you want to talk about what are you for? They should have been screaming that from the rooftops for the Tea Party. They got formed because they were mad about the bailouts, and then they did random things where they dressed in costumes and brought guns, and then were like, I think we're angry about healthcare. What? So they had no freaking idea. They're the model of what the hell's your point?
Yeah.
But look at the contrast in the coverage.
Yeah, no, totally. And I would also argue, if you ever find yourself asking of a protest group, like of the Women's March, also some people say this about the whole kneeling thing, what do they actually want? Have you considered asking them? You can talk to them, they're holding signs actually. You can probably see some here. There's anti-war messages, there's anti-capitalism messages, anti-fascism messages, there's message pro-science, all sorts of things. But another criticism is, well, they're just marching. Some people, generally people who don't like marching because it's hot and they don't like walking around, like to denigrate it as not being important. But I would argue that it's not just a march. I think that this movement, which in its purest form I think is here in the march, is going to make a huge difference in fall. And so we have numbers for that. It ain't just marching, it's also running, okay? At least 79 women are exploring runs for governor in 2018, potentially doubling a record for female candidates set in 1994, which is amazing. The number of Democratic women likely challenging incumbents in the US House of Representatives is up nearly 350% from 41 women in 2016. Nearly 900 women contacted Emily's List, which recruits and trains pro-choice Democratic women, about running for office from 2015 to 2016. Since President Trump's election, more than 26,000 women have reached out about launching a campaign. Now that's just one example, but obviously you can look at Justice Democrats and you can look at a number of other groups like that that are helping. So these people are not simply marching, they're not simply talking, which would be a big thing by itself. They're also running for office. And when they do run, and when the election comes, they're gonna make a difference. A poll came out today, and the women's vote is going to be huge. Democratic candidates win support from 2/3 of women, 64 to 29%, up from 55 to 40% in the fall. That's a huge shift. Now the race for men, where the Republicans have the advantage by 9 points, is steady since Donald Trump's election. And so you're seeing there's movement amongst a number of different demographic groups, but perhaps nothing like amongst women. And so it ain't just marching, man. It's running for office. It's supporting candidates that they will then vote for. It's donating. It's mobilizing people to vote on a number of different issues. I mean, there were great speeches about DACA, about a number of different issues there. And so for me, events like this, marches like this, and we had a number last year, a way to sort of recharge, to get out of the weird political media cast and go and see real people, real activists trying to make a change.
All right, I have a bunch of things to say about that. So you mentioned just Democrats. Slightly more than half of the candidates are women in that group as well. And they didn't pick them, and I didn't pick them, the staff did. They didn't pick them because they're women. They picked them because they were the best candidates available in those races. And by the way, nearly half are men. And so it's amazing what happens if you actually practice diversity, not in forced ways, but in natural ways where you actually look for the best possible candidate. And it turns out, hey, look, that kind of matches the population of the US if you don't put bias into the equation, okay? Yeah. So now, in terms of the women vote, well, look, what John said, I just want to double down on it. Just a couple months ago, there's a 15-point lead for Democrats among women. That's already gigantic. Now it's a 35-point lead. I've never seen anything like that in my lifetime. For one demographic like that, and it's a pretty important one, 51% of the population, a 35-point lead. That's heading into congressional elections. So the most important sign you're seeing is the one that's right behind John. Grab him by the midterms. Okay.
There are a lot of things like that at the march,
That's
actually.
right.
Yeah.
And that is exactly right. So, but in order to do that though, you have to actually read the signs. You have to actually talk to these people. I'm talking about Democratic leadership talking to these people. I'm not even talking about the right wing. And you have to find out, what do my voters care about?
Yeah.
So when you do what you did today and you don't include the DREAM Act in a compromise, you're gonna drain the excitement out.
Yeah.
And right now, the number one reason why the Democrats are slated to clean up in these next elections is because of excitement. It's up 6 points among Democrats and Democratic leading independents since November. That is their likelihood to vote, their chance of showing up. So in all these categories, in almost every demographic, the number of people saying that they're gonna show up that are Democrats are much higher than average, much higher than usual. Why? They're fired up to fight Trump and the Republicans, it's true. But they also wanna be fired up for change that goes in their direction. So if you say, okay, get fired up, but if we win, we're not really gonna do anything. And by the way, I've seen articles like that already. The Democrats are talking about, well, if we win this time around, we gotta keep our powder dry so that we win the next elections too. No, that's the exact wrong point. You have to deliver if you win this time. Otherwise, you don't get marches like this. You don't get energy like this, and you don't get wins like that you could have. Right now, the Democrats have a historic 14-point lead in a generic matchup of Democrats versus Republicans in Congress among likely voters. 14 points, that's a landslide. Yeah. If that's across the country, the number of Republican losses might be shocking. But Democratic leadership, listen to progressives. Give them a reason to show up. If you don't give them a reason, they stay at home and you lose. If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.